Okay, so some of you may or may not know this, but I have 11 3D printers and 8 of them are Ender 3s. Just like that one right there on my workbench right now. So, with all of these, right, and the new bamboos coming out and how automated and awesome they are, how can I take these to the next level, make them even better? So, to start, I have these and I'm taking these and putting like a Hero Gen 7 mod on them, as you can see here. I converted this one to use dual 5015 fans with a direct drive. I also did the Kevin aka Sam belt mod. So as you can see here, normally on a normal Ender 3 there's a lead screw that runs up this full side, and as you can see I went ahead and added in a whole belt driven system here, so then that way this whole X gantry can be level at all times. I also went in and added this magnetic clicky probe, which I had to go in and pick up, and then once it does that, you can see here it's right there on the bottom of the head, if my camera can focus. Anyway, and then basically uses it, you know, to go through, probe the bed. I don't have a PEI sheet on at the moment, and tells you, you know, exactly what you need to do. So with all that being said, it's still not capable of essentially what a Bamboo P1S does. So guys, how can we take this to the next level, you know, and actually take like my potential 7 or 8 printers that could print like, you know, 10,000 acceleration, you know, 150 millimeters per second or 250 millimeters per second, and keep up with the Bamboo printers, printing one solid color or even doing different layer change colors and things like that. So to find a solution, I went on printables.com, and there's this awesome project called Ender 3 NG by this cool dude called RH3D. He made this project that basically takes the Ender 3 as this form here, and it takes all the aluminum extrusion bars, all the motors, the screen, the electronics, and basically turns it into a XY conversion printer exactly like the Bamboo printer has it here, as it, you know, has with its structure. A Core XY printer is one that has the print head that can move left and right, and also forwards and backwards. And then the bed is essentially static. The bed does not move back and forth like on a conventional Ender 3 printer. This bed here, as you can see, it has 3 Z-screw motors, and basically the bed will only move vertically, which makes it so that the printer can move at excruciating speeds, you know, because it has the capability of the belt running the entire machine, and since the print head is the only thing moving and not the bed, the print head can move like significantly faster because of the tensioned belts and everything, rather than the multiple moving parts. So at this point here, I'm trying to get like even these printers up to this point, and then basically I also want to see with taking one of these printers and using it for the Ender NG project, you know, just how it will turn out. So what happened? I went ahead and ordered all the parts that I need on AliExpress, and they're actually just coming in now. I had just a few of the parts just start coming in. I have probably 2 or 3 things that I've ordered so far, and one of those things is actually ABS, and I started printing out a bunch of the parts that are needed, you know, to make this conversion happen. So there's things where you need frame parts, there's pieces that will go for the head, so then that way it can connect to the bars and everything like that. So right now, as you can see, I have all my printers in the house, right? And when you print ABS, it releases a toxic material that you don't want, you know, fuming in your whole house while you're printing. Also, ABS is known to have an extremely strong and prominent odor while it's printing. Again, ABS is one of like the strongest print materials that you can use. It's still just as cheap as PLA, which is awesome. You know, and all the other benefits that come with it. So where am I gonna do this, right? This is like, I want to print all my stuff. It's the middle of winter and we're getting all this snow. As you can see here, it's like crazy outside. You can't even see it because it's so bright out. So what did I do? Well, with my cool place, we got a 1-car garage, not heated. And Google showed me some Reddit posts of other people actually using their garage, not heated and things like that, to go ahead and print out their ABS parts. So the only logical thing to do would be to charge forward and put your printer out in the garage. So let's go ahead and check how my print is actually going with all the ABS. And let's see how much snow there actually is outside, because I think you guys will be a little shocked. And I have been running into some issues. I'm not going to glorify the bamboo out in the garage. So I did look online, and I had some concerns about the ambient temperature for your bamboo printer. And reason of that is because I know specifically under 3s even, they don't want you even running the printer out like outside ambient temperature, even if it's like, you know, less than 30 or 40 degrees, I believe it is. So when I looked on Bamboo's website, they had recommended anything less than 10 to 30 degrees Celsius, which I believe is like 50 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So again, like, you know, a garage that's in the middle of winter is not going to be getting to that, you know, even 30 degree mark. It's about 20-ish degrees just outside. And, you know, let's warm up a non-insulated garage and see if we can get that, you know, to where we need it to be is a challenge. So let's go ahead, go out, and I will show you all the snow that we're getting. And also, I want to just show you the quality of the ABS that I'm getting, and potentially our next steps. Do we keep printing out in the garage? Do we change it around so I bring the printer in the house and then now I figure out the smell and everything after the fact? Here we go. I have my P1S. As you can see, I have it out here in my garage, and it is a little chilly out here. You can see here if I open up the door, we do have some lifting here that isn't doing too hot, and I did put glue and everything on here before, and as we see here from the top view, it does look like some of the pieces are not the prettiest top finish. Definitely not. Okay, so as you can see, right, not the most ideal, and it is pretty cold in here. I don't have a thermometer, but when I was driving around earlier today, my truck was saying it was about 20 to 5 degrees outside. So it's probably just about that in this garage. As you can see, there's no insulation or anything on the walls. The leasing office wouldn't let me do that and stuff. And the only real possibility I have is running a little heater that I have right down here. So that's actually what I'm going to try, is I'm going to pull all this stuff off the plate, not the most ideal solution, and just start seeing maybe I can print one piece at a time or things like that. And hopefully you can see my breath a little bit. Hopefully I can crank up the temperature in here with just this little space heater. It is pretty small. Again, so it's just a Walmart special, of course, not sponsored, but it does kick out a little bit of heat. Nothing to make it, you know, significantly warm in here, but enough to actually, you know, maybe trick just the board enough to keep it running. Because, you know, with the P1S being completely enclosed and things like that, it's really just like the sensors and keeping that temperature warm. So I'm thinking this should at least be a start, And if I can't get the prints to stick and everything like that, you know, maybe take the next step at potentially looking inside and maybe seeing where I might be able to put it in there. Maybe I can designate it to be on the other side of the apartment or something like that. Meanwhile, you know, just to be able to print it. I'm really not a huge fan of the giant odor and things like that. Mind you, walking into the garage, I'm not smelling anything immediately, but it's not printing right now. So let's go ahead, turn on the space heater. I'm going to clean off this bed and see if maybe retrying it will do something. And also just doing it in smaller prints, I think that'll be a good thing rather than just trying to do all at once, and to see if it'll work. Okay, I went ahead and just grabbed my thermometer, digital thermometer, and I did just pull it out from my nice warm cozy house. So it's still at 73, but it's going to take a little bit for it to update. But meanwhile of that, definitely this ABS did not have fun. Look, I mean, if you just look at that quality, it is not too great. And I think that's because of the warping it was having. But this is also my first time printing with ABS, and this stuff is literally no joke strength wise. I mean, like, look at this, does not even flex to a bit. Ugh. Like, I'm squeezing it as much as I can. It's just not, like, barely, just this little piece. Like, this stuff is insanely strong. So, like, look at that quality. Like, I think the quality came out really, really good. It's just the cold temperature and a little bit of warping. But just this overall quality of it, like, that there's no way PLA can even mimic that. I mean, that's just insane. So we did have a couple of things that did turn out alright though. As you see here, some of these pulleys came out alright. The teeth look pretty good on them. Got another one here. Again, came out pretty good. There you go. Came out really good. Those teeth are nice and defined. So I think for the little stuff, we're definitely alright. But for these bigger pieces, definitely gonna have to reprint these. And like I said, I think maybe just printing one at a time, just to have, you know, a lower fail rate, higher success rate potentially, would be worth it, at least in my opinion. So I'm gonna put this stuff over here to the side. Clean this bed off. I have to plug in the heater, which I should have did already, because it's going to take a sec to warm up. And then I'll throw the bed back on, and I do want to modify the actual sliced file before resending it. So, I didn't fully finish. You can see right there that a little bit of infill was left. So, you know, a part to not just immediately throw out, something to keep and see if it's usable. But so far the only two fully completed parts are these little gear pulleys, so that sucks, but that's printing for you. So time to start again. Alright, we got the bed back on, should be good enough. Got the heater going, got the temperature sensor slowly creeping down to what the temperature actually is. So without anything else, I was gonna say without further ado, but I feel like everyone says that. Without further ado, let's go ahead, kick her back on, and I'm gonna try just running one or two things at once, and hopefully that fixes the problem. Hopefully running this fixes the problem, but only one thing to see if it actually resolves the problem is to try. So let's go ahead, turn on the print, and check back in later on tonight. Also, just a disclaimer for all of y'all that are worried about me running the space heater. Again, I'm gonna be checking it in intervals, so maybe every 15 to 30 minutes I'm gonna go out there, double check the temperature that the garage is at, and then also, you know, just making sure how everything looks. And again, you know, I have the full webcam view from my P1S anyway, so I can check how that print quality is. But I am curious on how long it takes for the space to kind of heat up, and then how much it can heat up with that little space heater. I'm not gonna guess much, but we don't need much, we just need enough. So I will check back in with you guys a little later. Alright guys, my print has been going for about an hour. Let's see how it's been in there. Ooh, not great. I have been running. It is very warm. It is showing, you know, 270, 90 degrees, all that stuff. Trying to head back here. Got 54 minutes left. So, and it's showing 32 degrees in here. That's probably just because the heater is in line with the thermostat. So, I don't know if I should pause it or just let it finish. It's just so close. I did go ahead and check on the print like about or after it finished and things, and it didn't work. So what I ended up doing was my only other option, like I said. Basically what was happening with the print, and I can go out in the garage and get it, but basically like the edges were starting to curl, and it just had really bad layer adhesion. Like for example, the layers were not completely smooth, and it was just having like a horrible look and everything like that. So since again, like, you know, this is my first time printing with ABS, and I'm doing like this cool mod and everything like that where, you know, I'm upgrading or upcycling a printer, I don't really want to take the chance of keeping my printer out in the garage, you know, wasting all this filament trying to get like the parts printed, and then it's really just they're not right, and then stuff doesn't fit right, and then you're frustrated because you're trying to put it together. So long story short, I ended up just bringing and putting my printer on the shelf. As you can see here, it's in the home of all my other printers, or some, and this honestly looks the best so far that I've seen on the quality of prints. It does look like there's a layer issue right there. Not exactly sure why, but this part is almost done. I think it has just about an hour left, and I'm not running the AMS on this unit just because it won't fit down there. So I am just using it on the back, and everything is pretty good for the print so far. And I know, I'm sure you're worried about the obvious claim, you know, with like the toxins and all that stuff, which I am too, right? Like, I don't want to do this, but the thing is like I want to get these parts printed and things like that too. So, you know, what are my options, right? Like, I don't want to take it over to a family member's house and run it in theirs because, one, then the remote capability of the Bamboo would be nice, but also just like having to run back and forth, and then, you know, what if there's just something wrong with it? So I have it on the other side of the room. As you can see, like, there's my door wall, and here's my office where I have other printers. So, you know, typically I'm spending a lot of time in the office here working on other printers, like in the kitchen or things. So I do have the printer on the other side of the house as much as I can, and you can't really smell the odor. I'm trying to find like a way to like explain it, like how it smells, but there isn't really like a great thing I could pinpoint it. It just it smells like melted plastic basically, but not as strong as like PETG or PETG if you've ever melted that. So it's not as bad. Again, all the toxic capabilities of it. I need to further look into that. I pretty much just was like, let's see if it works, and then, you know, sacrifice health second. So anyway, it's working and it's doing better. So I'm gonna try to print the parts that I need. I have my actual color coming in today. So what I'm doing with this is a lot of the main parts I'm gonna print in black, and then for a lot of the accent colors I'm gonna print in like this. Can't tell you yet, because I think it'll look really good once it comes in. So I will keep that a surprise if I can remember. But then I think it'll make the printer look really cool. What also is helpful for that is I've actually, like some of the other printers that I've modified and things, I like to name them by color. So this helps me kind of, you know, put a new color into the naming scheme, because right now I have orange and yellow, and then I named like a CR10, E3S1, so kind of running out of names here. E3V2 is another one I have. So, but I want to run Clipper on this machine and everything like that, so I want to give it a designated name, you know, for this project, especially with it being the first one that I'm doing. So I will check back in with you guys when that new color comes in, and then also when that print finishes, because I think you guys will really like it compared to the other old one that finished out in the garage. And then also, you know, just queuing up the other prints, you know, trying to get all this stuff done. So, and I'm hoping too that all my parts finally come in from AliExpress. I would say about two of my orders are here, and I have 4 or 5 more that are supposed to get delivered. So again, kind of a waiting game, but I also want to keep active with what I can do, so we'll just print those parts. But anyway, I will catch back with you guys a little bit later once the prints are done. Also, once the new color is here, and I think you'll like it. So I will catch back in with you right then. Alright, I was just notified of print success. Let's go ahead and check that out. That definitely looks way better than the one from outside. You go ahead and pull this plate off. Yeah, look at that. Definitely looks really good for the most part. Let me go ahead and pull it off, and we'll take a look, and I'll show you the one from outside. Alright, I just ran outside, so that's why I still have my coat on, but the printer's not outside. I ran outside to get the other part, but I wanted to show you guys pulling the part off. So this one definitely looks really good. I did go through and do a brim. Maybe that's what I needed to do for my other part out in the garage. So it definitely looks really good though. Like you can see, like the layer lines and all that stuff are just super crisp compared to what it's gonna look like outside when I show you here in a second. But you can see, there we go. You can see there, like you can see the symbol that they put in. The corners are very crisp. Holes are very circular for the most part. I don't know if you're gonna see it too well, but like the top is very good. So for the most part, you know, like woo, it came out like really good. You know, for ABS. Again, like I can smell it in the house. It is on the other side, near the door wall. Looking online too, you know, like this is the only printer that I'm using for ABS at the moment. Gosh, this is really strong. And the main side effects were like headaches, irritated eyes, things like that. So I think what I'm gonna do is queue up a little bit longer of a print. I think I'm gonna keep using the brim. That seemed like a good thing to do. Oh yeah, let me show you the other print of it outside. I had it. Huzzah! I found it again. Okay, so like you can see here, let me go ahead and zoom it back in. Like with this print, right? Like for the most part, looks fairly well. but there is still like some issues. Nothing like circular wise with this one at least, but you can see like even at the bottom it kind of lifted a little bit. You can see that pretty well. There's a whole little layer line shifting issue. You can see like some more imperfections there on the sides. You know, you can see the side really well. You know, again, like the holes, they're just still straight through and whatnot. So, I mean, again, like, so that's my thing now. It's like, you know, the only real issue, you know, is how much. So this is the one outside, and then this is the one in the house. You know, how perfect does it need to be? You know, like here you can see there is a noticeable difference with the two for, you know, like how flat you can even see it. So again, this is the one that was printed outside, and then this was the one in the house. And you can see just like even the edge here that was curling up compared to not over here. But again, I was just using a brim. So these are super strong. Whoa, you gotta be super up close. So yeah, these are super strong. Like, it doesn't feel like they're just gonna break or snap or anything. I mean, these are printed with a lot of infill. They're 30% infill, 5 walls, 0.2 layer height. So I mean, you know, they're not like weight to them, but you can just feel how rigid they are. So yeah, like that's where it really gets me, is like just this layer line quality. Like, I would hate, you know, to do this first project and then have a whole bunch of just little mistakes like this and that and whatnot. So I think what I'm gonna do, like I was saying, is I'm just gonna print. I'm gonna queue up a longer print and probably just head out for a little bit for today, and then that way, you know, I'm not here at the house. It is a Saturday, so I can go around and do something, and that way I won't have to sit here, breathe the fumes in, and I can take my little pupper with me. So we'll go out and hang out and stuff like that. We'll wait for the print. The other filament is still not in yet, so I cannot reveal you guys the colors, but I cannot wait. So again, I think, like I said, I'm gonna try to queue up a pretty big print. With all these prints and all these files, it is pretty difficult to track all this stuff. So I do have like an Excel sheet going, just noting, you know, and I'll put down that I printed this part first. There's a couple little bearing things that I printed as well. Those are out in the garage. Those did come out like really good. There wasn't any layer line issues or anything with those, so I think we'll be fine with those. But again, it's just bigger parts like this. And like I was showing you in earlier videos of the, like some of the frame pieces that are pretty long that were curling on both sides and had this horrible, you know, layer issue all across the print. So without that, and then not having like my secondary color, I'm just gonna go ahead, like I said, get all the things printed, and I will catch back in with you when everything's printed. Alright, so I'm not finished with the video yet. So I was thinking, while I was basically getting this print going, or getting the file ready, I'm looking to do like a 14 to 15 hour print, like I was saying, get everything that I can print, you know, done and whatnot. If I leave, where does the air go, right? In the house still. So I'm thinking, when you use the restroom, right, they got the fan that goes on and da-da-da-da, kicks the air out. So, unconventionally, I'm actually thinking about putting my P1S in the bathroom and then kicking the 13-hour print off like that. So then that way, whether we're home or not, the printer can still keep running. I'll just keep that specific bathroom closed because we have 2 here, and they both have vents, which is nice. And then that way, we can take off, the smell can get vented out. If we're here, we just don't use that bathroom and the smell gets vented out. So that should fix my issue, I think. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead, get that printer moved now that it's done, and then also go ahead, get that 14-hour print queued up. And now that I had this genius idea, I think that's the end of this video, but we'll see. So, to move the printer, to get the file queued up, and then I will check back in with you guys later. Here's our printer. So, yeah, let's go ahead and, like I said, I have it over here in the corner, so if we did have to use it, we still can. And then we just have the vent right here running already. So, let's go ahead and start that print.